Welcome back to the Nerdrotic Podcast. My name is Gary Buechler. I am live in San Francisco, California. I come to you from nerdrotic.com. And this is a solo effort tonight, and I will be covering Krypton again, like I said I wouldn't. But, you know, the show just keeps pulling me back in. Plus, I love live streaming. Even if it's late at night and there's just a couple of us here. Hello, Jody, the last Time Lord and RoboBrain 10,000. If you're still with me. I'm not really sure. It looks like I have 0 viewers, so I might be talking to myself tonight, but this turns into a video in the morning, so it's all good. So tonight's episode of Krypton was a lot better. Well, a lot better than last week's episode. Last week's episode, it kind of went off the rails for me. There was just like some really odd storytelling, and it didn't look like it was written by somebody who was in the writer's room for the whole season. I'm not really sure. I don't mean to crap on the show because, you know, it's been pretty good. It's been surprisingly good. The previous 2 episodes were really good. I'm really loving Jaina Zod. She's kind of my favorite character, and Nisa Vex. They are my 2 favorites right now. Seg is good. Hello, Tilame 29. How's it going? Cobra Kai will be covering on Saturday. We'll be covering Cobra Kai on Saturday. If you're watching this on a video, that's not going to matter to you. This might be the future. Who knows? So we start out this episode with Adam Strange 2 weeks ago. And it shows him on his ship, and he's talking to, we later learn, Sardath and Elena. And and I even got like kind of a Booster Gold. I've been getting a Booster Gold vibe from this version of Adam Strange a little bit. And, you know, we haven't seen him as Adam Strange. He looks more like Marty McFly to me, but he's a pretty decent character. So we go to 2 weeks ago when he first faded out in the first episode talking to Seg, and we see where he went. He went to the ship, and we find out that he stole the Zeta Beam device or borrowed it. And, you know, he's been kind of a loser. So we're seeing that, you know, he's trying to prove himself as a superhero, and he believes in saving Superman. Like, he's really down with it. But, you know, you got to wonder how they portrayed Adam Strange. Like, is this really the best guy for the job, or did he just take the job? And that's what it kind of looks like. Yeah. So, Adam is later with Kem. We get to now the present, and he says he wants to talk to Seg. Kem is just completely over Adam. He's never really liked him anyway, but he agrees to help him so they can, you know, at least so he can have a conversation with Seg, doubting that Seg is even going to change his mind. Then Kem, while he's looking for Ona, he's been looking for Ona for a while. He runs into Sevi, who is another Alkalite from the Voice of Rao, who has escaped. And she tells Kem that the Sentry from Brainiac, which is the Voice of Rao, has been using the Genesis chamber to re-energize himself. I don't know why this is necessary, but it's very Matrix. So and the Genesis device, if you guys don't remember, is what they use to procreate in Krypton. They don't actually have sex. So he's sucking all the lifebloods out of the little embryonic Kryptonians. Yes, Jody, yeah, Gary, he does sort of seem a bit more Booster with his backstory here. The whole borrowing the Zeta Beam device. What's next? A futuristic supersuit and golden floating robot named Skeets. Yeah, that's who I thought he was talking to in the ship for a minute there, Jody. Yeah, you know, I'm definitely getting the vibe, especially in his mannerisms and stuff. And I love Booster Gold, so maybe they should have just used him, or maybe they couldn't. I don't know. It doesn't seem they're afraid to use any of the DC universe at this point. So this show could go Gotham on us, which isn't entirely a bad thing. Gotham is bonkers, but it's fun. And I guess I can take this opportunity to let you all know that we will be doing a season review of Gotham after the finale. If you want to check that out, Dennis and I decide. So I'm going to catch like 20 episodes of Gotham in the next 2 weeks. We'll see how that works out. Yeah, I guess 2 a day. I could do it. So we also have the Resistance, getting their stuff together, and it's Jaina and Zod and Nyssa and Lyta and Seg. Seg hatches an idea that after Kem tells him what Brainiac is doing, he hatches an idea that he can maybe break the connection, and they still have to, to get to the Voice of Ra, they have to break the connection with the Red Shard, and maybe he can use Grandpa Val to do that in some aspect, but they need to get an army. So Zod decides to hook up with Black Zero. Seg's not really for it, but Zod is not asking. And Jody mentions in the comments here that he's not really happy with okay, I gotta say I was disappointed with the direction they're going with Zod in this episode. If what they showed is any indication, I was hoping for something else, but we'll see, I guess. Yeah, Zod has been okay in this. I haven't totally hated it. He's really dishing out like the information. Jaina pretty much she has a conversation with him later that I'll just jump to right now, where she's asking, like, how did he escape Krypton, and he explains to her about the Phantom Zone. So the Phantom Zone's not a secret now. So I guess paradoxes are not like a problem in this world, or maybe they are. Maybe the time stream is getting completely screwed up. And the creators of the show at Comic-Con did mention that they're really going to play with the timeline on this one, and you can in the DC universe, to be honest with you. There's the multiverse, and we're just in another section of it. So yeah, and it looks to me like they're if this does get a season 2, they are setting up to where we'll see some more superheroes. We might even have seen the origin of our first Kryptonian superhero this episode with Dev. We find out that Dev is not alive. Or not alive. He's not dead. It's late, folks. Sorry. And Lyta and Seg and Nyssa decided to go out where his body was. Then they were going to probably use his body to find the connection with the Red Shard. I don't think they were expecting to find him alive, which they did, but he was barely alive. His arm is blown off. So they take him inside the Fortress of Solitude. Now everybody knows about it. Nyssa, Lyta, so yeah, everybody knows about the Fortress of Solitude. I'm going to backtrack to Darren Vex has a little conversation with Brainiac, which this is the one I'm finding the hardest to believe. Why the Sentry of Brainiac? I know the Sentries need to get information from the planet. I just don't know why it would need Darren Vex. But Brainiac promises Vex Kandor once he is done, and he says he's going to leave Kandor, which obviously is not true, unless the timeline has been changed, I guess. So we jump ahead and we see Jaina and Zod meet the leader of Black Zero. I did not get her name. But we find out that the leader of Black Zero did have a rank at one time. It was Darren Vex, who screwed her out of her family and everything. And she even mentions it to Jaina. It's like, now you know how it feels to be, stripped of everything in your honor. And Jaina just says, "Yep, feels pretty shit right now." Yeah, it was a funny line. And like I said, the actor playing Jaina, she is great. She's the best thing in it. She's a cut above, and that does stand out. Like there's big differences in acting in the show, and it's not all terrible. It was a very ambitious show. It was very ambitious to go out and make a show on another planet. That's a sci-fi show. I mean, it's expensive to costuming, sets, special effects. You're also dealing with DC fans. The DC universe, can consider myself one of them, who are not the easiest to please all the time. I know, people find that hard to believe with the CW shows, but a lot of DC fans hate the CW shows. I don't hate them, but yes, I did. Talim, I agree with you. He says I liked how they introduced Doomsday in this series. I did, and the look was amazing. Isn't it funny that this show gets Doomsday better than the movies did? Yeah, the movies, the Doomsday just looked like an orc or something, So they're working on Dev in the Val-El is working on Dev in the fortress, and Lyda, is he's somewhat conscious, and she's asking him, if he'll go through with this. Blink once if you don't want to do it, blink twice, and be brave for me. And he blinks once, and she's happy. Another thing that was funny early on was Nisa and Lyda and Seg were taking a ship out to near the fortress to go find Dev, and there was just the awkwardness of the love triangle that's going on down there. And Seg plays it off pretty good, all uncomfortable, and there's worse problems to be in. I mean, in the middle of the world ending, he's got to make choices, and life is full of choices. Seg, it really is. So Kim finds Ona, and she's forgiving people out in the street, and he tries to tell her about Brainiac, and she's not having it. She says, Uncle Kim giving me to Brainiac, or not Brainiac, the voice of Ralph, was the greatest thing you ever did, and Kim just couldn't, go on with it. So, he kind of failed with that, and Adam was with him, and Adam's all, well, at least you tried. And Kim's all like, screw you, buddy. Your plan sucks. I'm paraphrasing here, I'm not going to help you. And, at least you tried on your plan too. So it was kind of right back at you. And that's when he flashes back into the ship, and we find out he's talking to Sardoth and Elena, and he convinces, and they're just voices at this point. And they're not really convinced that Adam can complete his job. And I'm not either. They're portraying him like pretty much a loser. What's up, Ed Brewer? No, you didn't miss it. I was really late. Sorry. Had some camera. I've been a night of technical difficulties, but here we are. So so he convinces Sardoth and Elena to give him another chance down there. And this is where it's getting kind of, I said last episode that it looks like they might portray Adam as somewhat of a villain. And if you really think about it, he's asking him to let Brainiac rip Kandor out from Krypton, let Krypton be destroyed, and for Superman. And he hasn't done a great job of arguing it. He even has a practice speech that he uses on Kim that Kim susses out immediately. So, I mean, it is the future where he has, and, he does have a Zeta beam device. Did he not bring a cell phone with some Superman video? Maybe showing him like how awesome he is instead of just taking, I'm surprised so many people have taken his word for it anyway. And there's a lot of that in this show of just like, take my word for it. Okay, I'll give you this chance. And yeah, the best example of it is Adam decides to talk to Darren Vex as part of his plan to save Superman. So he talks to Vex, and Vex isn't having it, but he's all, I know about Brainiac. And and Vex, he was all chained up, and Vex goes, get him out of here. And he goes, I know about Brainiac. He's all, okay, come on in, take his chains off, it's all right, or strike his irons or whatever. And he basically tells Vex what he knows about Brainiac. He has no intention of giving him power or saving Kandor. And the one thing he does is he shrinks down the city, and it's part of his collection, and everybody has to relive the same day for eternity. And Vex says, well, at least we'd be alive. But Vex is listening to him, and he's just like, okay, and I don't think at any point Adam Strange said, like, I'm from another planet, and this is how I know this. And yeah, he basically lets him go. He tells Vex that, hey, I don't want to stop Brainiac. I don't even care. I want Seg out. I want you to give me Seg. I'll go to Kryptonopolis, and I'll take off wherever, and we're cool. And Vex kind of rolls with it. So yeah, then that's when Jaina finds out about Zod and hits him up, and he talks about the Phantom Zone. And she gets a lot of information out of him. And Zod, yeah, how he's portrayed this episode, Jody, like Zod is a general, okay? Generals, tend to become generals by being, I don't know, semi-decent at strategy. Unless it's part of his strategy, which it could be, to tell his grandma everything, who again, they're taking this guy on his word. He has a necklace, so that he's their grandson and he's from the future, and they're just like, okay, yeah, cool, and maybe that technology is all right. I know it's an advanced civilization, although they have no security cameras anywhere. So maybe they're just not into that. I don't know. Yeah. So there's a lot of parts I have a hard time buying in this show. But it's still entertaining. Excuse me. And why it's still entertaining, because there's good actors. There's good characters. And if it just turns into like a character-driven show, I think this will survive. I don't think it's going to be super intricate on the plot side, which is fine if you have likable characters, which the show mostly does, really. I find Darren Vex to be the most annoying, but that's kind of what he's supposed to be. So they hatch their little plan to go get Brainiac, and while they're working on Dev, Val is using the device they took out of his head to break the connection with the red shard, which is the Sagittari that Brainiac took over, so they can get to them, get them out of the way so they can get to him while he's charging up at the Genesis chamber. It doesn't work at first, and a firefight ensues, and they end up, shooting. Jaina blows like a dude's head off, by the way. That was like, it's like there's really tempered violence, and then a dude's head explodes. I was like, whoa, okay. And they end up shooting Brainiac, and he dies Palpatine style, all the way down, except he's not screaming because Brainiac's a man. And it looks like they won, but, Zod's kind of, I don't know. He knows Brainiac. He's like, he ain't that easy to kill. I'm not so sure. We get a nice little scene with Darren Vex does get caught, and part of the reason Black Zero is going to work with General Zod is he agreed to hand over Darren Vex, and they do that. But Nisa has a little talk with him. She says she forgives him because he's a survivor, but I want to be more than a survivor. And he's all, so did I. And then she's all, goodbye, father. And that's it. It was a dramatic moment to have a dramatic moment, and there we go. And he's off. They unmask him, and he faces the leader of Black Zero. And I half expected him to, say like, "Hello, wife," but they didn't go there, so that's fine. Which would have been funny. So Black Zero has Vex. Zod was pissed because they didn't have the body of Brainiac. He wanted to see Brainiac. So and again, this is just something that's wrapped up in a bow. Black Zero says, okay, well, we'll be yours until we find the body. Okay, cool. All right, cool. Peace out. The interesting part comes at, there's some feeling stuff. And Jaina talks to Seg and tells him that she had talked to Zod, and she doesn't think he's come back here to save Krypton. She thinks he's come back here to rule it. Which, okay, I get that. Zod is still giving up all that power being on Krypton that rather being on Earth, although he does have to deal with Superman. I also wanted to point out, we had a commenter and somebody in the chat point out that the sun looks awfully yellow there. And it does. Maybe it's just part of the sky. I don't know, but it's supposed to be red. I'm just saying. And the end is where things get cool again. This show does have, like, it rallies at the end sometimes, which is kind of cool. So we see Brainiac's body, and he's with Ona, and he's telling her not to worry, and he's all, we're reborn through fire. And Adam is about to light a cigarette, and he's in some hallway, and he sees, he figures out things aren't going the way he wanted. He saw some troops go by, and he sees Ona go by saying, we are reborn by fire. We are, just repeating it over and over again. He's like, oh shit. And she walks over, and Adam was apparently, and Ona were, Adam and Ona, ooh, that's hard to say, were apparently very close to Seg and Kem, and she walks over, looks up at Seg and says, we were reborn in fire, and all the writing on her face starts lighting up, and then Adam comes up, hits his Zeta device, and protects Seg and Kem from getting blown up. So little Ona blows up. We hardly knew little Ona. and she's gone. And of course, Kim is crushed, and not literally, he's just, emotionally crushed. But Adam saved him, but he disappeared. So we see where Adam drops, and this is where I'm totally confused. Please help me with this in the chat. We see Adam get up, and he sees a woman, and it looks like a modern day woman. I think he's on Earth at this point. You can't tell. You hear some background noise that might be some cars, but they don't show you the city. They don't tell you where it is, and it's such a tight focus that you can't see anything in the background. And maybe they meant to do it that way, but it looks like the woman is frozen, and then her eyes move, and it kind of scares Adam, and he goes, "What the fuck?" And there's dramatic music, and it ends, and I have no idea what that meant. This is my assumption, that he Zeta beamed back to Earth, and everybody's frozen, or he got put into one of Brainiac's collections, or I don't know. I have no idea what happened in that scene. I know it was supposed to be dramatic because the music told me to be dramatized, or whatever it is, yeah, wasn't. So a little confused about that ending, and they didn't tell you anything in the scenes. There's only 2 episodes left. It looks like they are going to let out Doomsday, which is exciting. That's going to be costly, and we're going to cover it. Dennis will be back for the finale. I will do one more. I will subject you all to one more solo recap next week, and we'll wrap this up. Is it the worst season of television? Hell no. It's had some really good episodes. Last one being definitely the weakest. This one was much better. It was entertaining. This show has great potential, though. If they, first seasons are always kind of rough, so you got to be a little forgiving. And as far as first seasons go, it's doing pretty good. It rushes through some stuff, but I think if they can make it to a second season, so they can do some really interesting things, as long as they don't blow their wad on Brainiac, the first season. And it looks like we're going to see like proper Brainiac in the next couple of episodes. And I am cool with that, because I do like the look of Brainiac. Unleash the Beast. And now it's the portion of the recap that I get into the chat. And hey, you night owls, thanks for staying up with me and keeping me company. Yeah, so it was better than last week. Okay, yeah. So, but yeah, Gary, why would Brainiac Sentry, the voice of Rao, bother? He's a computer, and his previous Sentry didn't bother to do anything like talk to anyone. Not really, anyway. No. And he's like, this one's laughing. So yeah, and for being such a godlike being, it's very mustache twirly. So yeah. Also, Brainiac's whole shtick is pretty much to download the info he can of the civilizations he collects, then destroys the originals, right? Yep. I'm also wondering if they plan on using Brainiac as the Age of Enlightenment for Krypton. Maybe. Yeah. That's the thing about weekly recaps is we do a lot of speculating and some judging, and sometimes we're just way off because it was part of the story that we weren't getting. So, I don't know. I don't feel like any of this is going over my head, although I was very confused by that ending of the episode. And honestly, if some alien appeared saying he was from the future and some other alien was on his way to destroy our planet, would you automatically believe them? No, I would think, okay, maybe you're working with that alien or you're effing crazy. I mean, I might believe it because I believe in UFOs and aliens and stuff, but like other people wouldn't. You'd think they were nuts. Probably ignore them, or maybe even put them in the loony bin or something. I would just I would take them to an AA meeting probably. Lots of folks from the future are in the loony bins right now. That's right. The actually loony bins, Ed, could comment, are filled with people from the future. But you know what? What if we're wrong about just one of them? Just saying. It only takes one. And as for Drew Zod, why would he come back to save Krypton. I honestly don't buy it. I think the Zane game is somehow acquiring Doomsday or something. Yeah, I don't even think him coming back to rule it is something he'd want, because he's giving up his superpowers, and he loves his superpowers. So there's definitely an ulterior motive, and there always is with that damn General Zod. Okay, which is why I was puzzled he'd tell the game. That's why I was puzzled he would tell Grams anything, says Jody. Why mention it and being chucked in the Phantom Zone for rebellion? That must be part. He must be trying to. That must be some 4-dimensional chess going on there, maybe. Or maybe we just we need some characterization for the people who don't read Superman. Possibly. It doesn't exactly engender trust, especially since Grams is actually honorable and bound by duty despite conspiring with Vex. Agreed. That's not a tobacco cigarette, says Ed Brewer. Smoking a little sticky icky on Krypton. There you go. I bet you they don't grow weed there. Doesn't look like a good weed growing environment. I live close to some very good weed growing environments. They do not partake. Yeah, and if it's yellow, why aren't they flying around or exhibit some sort of superpowers? Was it a cigarette or was it a joint? I think Ed already asked that question, Jody. Roman Velarde says they seem to like a lot of green. They seem like not. Okay, sorry, I can't read. They seem to like not get sunlight at all right now. Yeah, they don't get any sunlight, Roman. Some cataclysm happened that they mentioned last episode, which I was really curious about, and I wish they'd mention. I was kind of hoping that they would, it's easier on the budget to do something where it's just dark and snowy out all the time because it's easier on the special effects. But I would love to have seen like the Krypton comic from the 80s that Mike Nola did that they gave out for Free Comic Book Day and promotion of the show. I would love to see Krypton look like that. Lots of colors, futuristic. I like the political stuff, but it's kind of weird. I feel the same way about Krypton as I do Wakanda. There's these very advanced civilizations have some really weird customs that wouldn't generally lead to a really futuristic civilization. Just saying. Battling for kings, feudalism, basically they don't really lead to prosperous societies. Just saying. They do for some very few, and they do have a lot of rank lists there. But it seems like each city is a city state, and there's no like one Krypton government. Maybe the woman is either for I can't say for or Ursa. That would be awesome if it was Ursa. I want Ursa in more ways than one. No, big crush on Ursa when I was a kid. Okay, Sarah Douglas, and then I got to meet her. And it was cool. What about the same day over and over again? Yeah, that was weird. To be honest, though, with as far as Feisty fan, what's up? How's it going? Wow, as I way behind the chat, a bunch of people just came in. With Superman, I read him in the 80s. Didn't read them much in the 70s because I was a kid, and DC Comics were 50 cents back then. You can get Marvel for 25 cents, 30 cents. So I'm not, I don't know all of the Krypton lore. So I don't know what this is. There's many versions of Brainiac. That's all I know. So and it seems like they're picking a little bit from Go Thread. Adam Strange is Groundhog Day right now. Oh, maybe that would be it. That would actually be kind of interesting. I like that. Yeah, definitely. Feisty fan. Thank you for the $2.99. You thought I broke up with Krypton. I did too, but you know, I believe in second chances and third and fourth and fifth. I mean, people took them on me, so you know, and it's a show, and there are a lot of hardworking people on that show. So when they have some asshole who comes on the internet and you know kind of craps on their show a little bit, I feel like I owe them like one more chance. Okay, and they did a good job. They got me back in. Zoltan Timmer says maybe they find a Doctor Who way to save Krypton and Crypto and Superman. Yes, they'll timey-wimey it. That very ending scene looked like how Moffat ended half of his Doctor Who shows with at least a couple of the Capaldi ones where he lands in some like weird dirt place and like, oh my God, and we're on to the next show. A little cliffhanger. I did get a bit of a Doctor Who feel there. Yeah, you're up late, Feisty. You're not my real mom, Ed Brewer. No, just your stepmom. Ed Brewer is your stepmom. Yeah, hello, 899. I mean, that's funny. It's first time watching tonight. Okay. When we get the Hawks, I want Lindsay Morgan to play as a hot girl. Okay. Going through the chat here. What better, in your opinion, is Marvel Runaways or Krypton? Oh, what is better, in my opinion, Marvel Runaways or Krypton? Runaways. Right now. The Runaways was good for what it was. It was a little bit lacking in the superpower department, but you know, for a YA show, it had me engaged, and that's usually not stuff I'm really into at all. And Jody says, I'm Black Zero's leader talking about setting up a democratic society. I know, right? It's like we've got this badass, you know, it's like when Zod talked out a turn, she smacked him in his face and like he took it. She like slit his cheek, and then he does this weird thing. He like puts the red dot in his forehead. And he's like, "Let me tell you about Brainiac." You know, it's like, what? No, lick the blood. Just go, tickles. You know, just say something like that. You know, and that's probably the first time Zod has bled in a long time. You know, I don't know. Yeah, it just that was weird. And then, yeah, she's this big badass, you know, terrorist Black Zero, and then she's all, we're gonna get rid of the rankless and for the people, by the people, and God bless Krypton. You know, that was a little weird. Yes. So yeah, they have a dome. Yeah, you're right. They say in the show there's a dome. So the sunlight, there is sunlight, but it's yeah, it's they show it a little bit, but it just looks yellow. It does. Yes, you're paying money to give me shit, Feisty. Feisty, you can give me shit for free. It's cool. That's cool. For one, I can take it, and I probably deserve it. I probably deserve it. If it's not for anything I've done, it's probably for something I will do. Yeah. Yes, hello. I thought I broke up with Olivia Holt, but she keeps coming back every time. Hello. There you go. Yeah, it's me and my wife. My wife and I were talking about it. Like, if we ever like broke up with each other, it just wouldn't work. We'd end up going back. We're so stuck with each other at this point. Which basically means, like, you know, she could get away with murder with me, and she already can. It does feel Whovian at time, and even good Whoverse, not the Doctor Who we've had lately. To me, Doctor Who is done. I think the 50th anniversary special, if you just end it in your head right there, that's a nice little bow on top, and you could enjoy everything before that. All apologies to the wonderful Peter Capaldi, who put in an amazing effort while being given like horrible content. So I love you too, Feisty fan. It's like, what are you people doing? Don't you have things to do? I have things to do, but sleep's for wusses, right? Yeah, so I'm gonna keep covering the show, and we're gonna do Gotham. What do I think is next on this one? Well, we're definitely getting Doomsday. We see the door opening, but it looks like we're gonna get some of our Earth too. They did say they're gonna show Adam Strange coming back and timelines being screwed up on Earth. I don't know if it'll be screwed up on Krypton, but if this show keeps going, I think it'll be a lot like any time travel show where they're just trying to fix something every season. And maybe that's where you can go and, after the Brainiac thing. And Feisty fan, I did like Capaldi. There are some Capaldi episodes that I loved, but it was mostly bad. I mean, we got to admit it. It took me, I even reviewed shows that I thought I liked, and I went back and watched, and they just weren't good. I'm sorry. Sometimes I got to take the nostalgia lens off. I usually don't, but yeah, we can definitely talk about that another time. Brian Smart, one of our great subscribers, keeps asking me if I'm going to cover the new Doctor Who, and no, I'm not even going to watch it. Doomsday is sort of like Chekhov's gun. Feisty fan, she doesn't watch half the shows I cover. I'm just entertaining. Well, that is the highest praise. Thank you so much. But you should watch the shows. They're actually really good. But I know you're busy. You got this thing running a comic shop. You're too busy reading comic books to do much of anything. If you're not reading them, you're putting them away, or you're ordering them, or you're alphabetizing them. You got to really love comics to love a comic shop. And that's how I know I love comics, because I owned a comic shop for 10 years. I've collected them for 40. I've owned a comic shop for 10 years, and I still love them as much right now as I did when I was 12. So, yeah. As a matter of fact, I'm going to be opening another one someday. Hopefully this year. Things are looking, well, I don't know. I've got my shit together, but the comic industry needs to get their shit together. I even got a location picked out, but that is a podcast for another. That's going to be a very special podcast. And this channel is going to be part of it. Yeah. That's right. Thanks, Feisty. So I'm going to wrap this thing up because I got to go to bed, go to work, and do some work for Elon. Because he's a good guy to work for, by the way. That's a really fun place. I have to say, my coworkers are awesome. And it's the most professional place I've ever worked. The coffee's amazing. Okay. They always buy ice cream, which is cool. I mean, it's not like good for my waistline. I don't partake every day, but yeah, they bring ice cream. Yeah, Tesla's a cool place to work. Yeah. So, but I also need to do a good job there, which requires me to get a little sleep. So I should probably go. I think are we live streaming Feisty with Comics Division tomorrow? I think I'm going to be on Comics Division's channel tomorrow. And I don't know. We'll be talking about something retail-y, I'm sure. There's been some scuttlebutt going on. If not, then I'm going to be taking a day off of live streaming. Our next show will be Friday night with Susan Layton and Dennis. It's my favorite show to do. It's Friday night, 8 o'clock Pacific time. It's live, and we don't cover any particular TV show. We just cover the news and talk to you guys. This Saturday, I am going to be on I Love Comics, and I'm going to be hosting the losers round in Comic Book Thunderdome. So I'm going to be hosting the losers, which is going to be lots of fun. So check that out on I Love Comics. That is going to be 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. And then I think I'm going to be, I don't know which episode, I'm in a winner's bracket. So I got to, because I beat the wonderful Feisty fan, barely. As a matter of fact, I still got scars and bruises. She have me on the ropes, man. Yeah, Comic Book Thunderdome is lots of fun. It's where nerds debate, basically. And yeah, I'm very practiced in arguing because I've been married a long time and I have kids. So, and our next recap is Sunday, the spectacular Westworld, which is like, oh my God, if you guys are not watching freaking Westworld, do it. Okay. We're so lucky right now here at our Nerdrotic is we are covering 3 amazing shows and a pretty good one, Krypton. But we got The Expanse, we got Legion, and we got Westworld, and oh my God, like it doesn't get any better than that. It really doesn't. So yeah, Westworld. Ed Brewer, West fucking World. Man, that was a good episode last episode. Yeah, I know we're supposed to be talking about Krypton. DC fans, you know I love you, okay? And you guys deserve the best. I saw on the streaming service they announced there's going to be a Harley Quinn show. Is that animated? Is it animated? Because I saw them announce a Harley Quinn show. So yeah, that was interesting. I can't wait for the Swamp Thing. The live action Swamp Thing, I am all over. Yeah, thank you, DC Universe. You're going to give us lots of content to cover. And yeah. So, yeah, I'm going to wrap it up right there. We have some wonderful patrons, so I'm going to name off right now. Feisty is one of them. Our Patreon is pretty cool. We have a $1 level where you can suggest videos and just give us a tip and tell us you love us. $5, you get 3 comic books that were exclusive to my old comic store. Some of them are actually worth money. There's a story behind them that you can read on patreon.com/nerdrotic, which makes them rare. There is only 50 in existence in the world because of a sewage pipe accident. I originally had like 5,000 of them, and most of them got destroyed. I think they go for like $20 on eBay. So you sign up for Patreon and you stay with us for a little while. You get these comic books and you can flip them and do what you want. We also have a $15. We have $15 tier, which you get twice a year, once every 6 months. I call it the What's in the Box. It's kind of like a Loot Crate box, except you see all this crazy stuff behind me. You get some of that stuff. You get vintage toys. You don't get new stuff. So it's pretty cool. And you get a Nerdrotic t-shirt. And it looks like every patron $5 and up is going to get a new Nerdrotic t-shirt. They will be around for Comic-Con. And we're going to be rocking them at Comic-Con this year because Dennis and I are going. And we will be live every day from Comic-Con, probably multiple times. So, and let's get to our wonderful patrons here. And then I'll release you people. Dakota Stanton, Penn, Farm Girl, Apple Crow, Christianette Echo 9, Shakuri Lama, Eric, Richard Seth Jones, Viking Bitch, Luke Lucas, Mike Mechheist, Ed Brewer, Logan McLeod, Feisty Fan, Lawrence Howe, Isaiah Norton, Fan on Rough, Tiger Baskin RH, Rubicon Alpha, Johnny Pappas, Jody, Brian Smart, Steve D, and Arturo Espinoza. You are wonderful loyal patrons. You can sign up whatever you want. If not, you can super chat us once in a while. If not, just subscribe. Actually, because you know what? Time is something you can't get back. So that is the most valuable thing. So we appreciate your subscription. We just passed 2,000 last Sunday. And wow, this is so much fun. I know I say it every podcast, but it doesn't get any less fun. This is way better than being in a band. Trust me. All right. Everybody in the chat, how you guys doing? Ed Brewer, Feisty Fan, Jody, Roman Villard. Sorry, Roman. A brown comic book reader. What's up? Silver Spike. Hello. How are you? I said Ed's already. Who else? I know there was somebody else up there. I'm forgetting. They probably had to take out because I took so damn long. Zoltan Tamar. And yeah, if I missed anybody, I'm sorry. Oh, and Talim 29. Good to see you, Talim 29. I hope you have. Hi, Silver Spike. How's it going over there in Europe? It's in the morning for you, right? Early. Yeah. What's up, man? Good. Just got back from Flash's stream. Oh, cool. How'd it go? I'll have to watch it now at the video. So there we go. Yeah, after the second half of the series 7, it seemed like it It was losing steam. Oh, Doctor Who. Oh yeah, we'll do a whole live stream on Doctor Who. I promise you. I promise you. It's 8 a.m. in the UK right now, and it is midnight here. So that means bedtime for Gary. So everybody, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for watching our videos. If you're watching us a video, try to join us live. I know I'm on super late tonight, but we do live streams almost every day now. And I do a Monday morning one if you can't do the night stuff, and we do Friday nights. And it's a lot of fun. There's great people in the chat, and it's a good hangout. Good night, Ed Brewer. Good night, everybody. Remember, folks, progress, not perfection. Good night.